Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. And I'm glad to talk about another layer 2 after a big supporter of the blast, you know. So I'm Cecilia Hsueh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Morph. I've spent the past 12 years founding 5 startups. I have sold services and products to over 5 million users. I have helped the global leading private equities and venture capitals to conduct very in-depth consumer researches to support their investment decision-making. And also my previous and my first crypto project is a centralized exchange called Phoenix, which has over 500 employees. And at the peak time, we had a daily trading volume of 5 billion. So last year in 2023, I found Morph, and today let's talk about Morph. This is the clicker, right? So what is Morph? In conclusion, Morph is the first Ethereum layer 2 which combines OP and ZK rollups together. We are the first one, and also we are the first blockchain which is built for consumers. We are backed by the industry-leading players, which including Dragonfly, Pantera, Bigot, and etc. This is our financial status. We raised 20 million for our seed round in March this year. As you can see, this is the investor mapping here. Dragonfly, Pantera, Foresight Ventures, Barton, Maxi Ventures are all these leading investors are all in it. And also earlier, we raised another like 5 million pre-seed round from Bigot, which is the biggest centralized exchange in the world. So why did they invest in us? Let's take a step back on the history of layer 2s. I know it's not long, but it's evolving, right? At the very early stage of layer 2 history, everybody was just talking about tech. It's tech, tech, tech all the time. Even to today, a lot of projects are still talking about tech. So we were just discussing about which scaling solution is better, which rollup we should use, and how can we optimize the rollup, the scaling solutions. And it turned out into the outcome that a lot of layer 2s became into ghost chains. They don't have users and they don't have ecosystem. I think this was inevitable, right, at the beginning, because we are at the very early stage of a new tech infrastructure building. So that was inevitable. But then it comes to the second stage of layer 2, which happened, I think, pretty recently, probably like 6 to 8 months ago. Also, yeah, the previous presentation was about Blast. I think Blast is a very good example of TVL. So the new joiners coming and they want to attract the attention of all these users. So they try to conduct a lot of airdrops, a lot of staking campaigns to attract the users. And then it turns out that in a very short term, there are several layer 2s which generate super high volume of TVL on the market. But it turns out that the outcome is that a lot of these TVLs are kind of like fake TVLs. They're like institutional custodian money in that. And as long as the staking period ends, people just take the money away, right? And there's no user left on that layer 2. So still there's no ecosystem, no users there. And now it turns into the stage 3 of layer 2, which is what Morph is focusing on right now. We only cares about builders and users. It's not tech, it's not TVL. Builders and users are the most important thing to us. Only in this way we think that we can build a long-term, sustainable, balanced L2 infrastructure ecosystem. So how can we do that? First of all, like to builders, I'm not sure like how many builders here today. Is there any builders here today? Yeah, we got a few here. So let me ask a quick question here. What are the main pain points you have when you start to build a project? And what are the unmet needs you have in your mind when you are building your project? We talked to a lot of builders, and these are the most common answers we got. How can I find the best team? How can I find the best people? How can I go to market and how can I raise funds? How to acquire the users? How can I grow, right? And how can my project be listed on the top-tier centralized exchanges? So these are very, very common questions we get. And these questions are not only questions, they're pain points. They're actual pain points of these builders. I believe a lot of you also have the very, very common and similar questions in your mind. So we understand that to build a project from scratch until they're listed on the centralized exchange, until you become a very, very impressive project, a decent project in Web3. It's a long, long journey. It's a painful journey. It's a complicated journey. And if you go to the other chains right now, I think what Dan also mentioned, that you don't get any support. It's not your personal feeling, Dan. Are you still here? I cannot see you. But it's not your personal feeling. It's a universal question. All the builders have the same questions. So if you go to these chains, the only thing they can help you is to integrate with their tech. That's it. And how can we help them to grow together? And how can we solve these pain points from the builders? This is our solution. So basically, Morph solution is a kind of like venture studio model, which includes, first of all, the users. I think growth is always the biggest problem for most of the users, the builders, right? And users is a key to growth. So where to get the users? We have users. Morph has users. From the day one, we had users. And how many users do we have? 30 million users. As I mentioned that, we are backed by centralized exchange. We have a huge exchange. We have a huge wallet. And in total, they have already more than 30 million users. This is first thing. And second of all, we have 50,000 top influencers in crypto. And in total, they have 50 million followers. And the third of all, we are a consumer blockchain. We are a blockchain for consumer, which means that we are facing mass adoption of users. It's not just for degen people. It's not in a small group of people. It's for massive, massive new joiners to Morph. So with all these, user base or potential user base, let's see how many users can we convert for the builders on Morph. Second of all, funds. Money is also definitely a very important thing for supporting our builders. So for funds, we have, in our tokenomics, we have already allocated 100 million native ecosystem fund to support long-term builders. And second of all, we are very thrilled to announce that we just found a new ecosystem fund with Foresight Ventures together, which is 20 million, to support our builders on Morph. And third of all, we are going to, not only Foresight Ventures, but we are going to build up a VC alliance, which is like 10 leading VCs who really care about the consumer application verticals growing, who wants to co-build the consumer blockchain together with us. And also, last but not least, we have these resources. We don't only have the VC alliance, we also have the centralized exchange alliance. So, which means that we will combine the top-tier centralized exchanges together as a support for the listing process of our projects. I cannot guarantee Binance, OKX, Coinbase, they're there and they are not going to align with each other, but I can guarantee below them, all these tier 2 top exchanges, I can make them as alliance. We are pretty resourceful with these centralized exchanges. So I know that going to list on these exchanges is very painful process for you guys, but let us help you with that. And also during the whole journey, we also have other incubation, community, and also marketing support for all of our projects. I think this is exactly what Dan just mentioned, that you need this kind of support, but you cannot find anywhere. And Morph, I think out of these I think there are like 200 layer 2s on the market already, and Morph is the only one out of these 200 layer 2s which can give you these supports. There's no way you can find any other layer 2s who can give you all these resources. Technical features. I know this is also very, very important to all of you. So I'm talking a lot about ecosystem, about the support, but it's not saying that we're not strong on tech. We are pretty, pretty strong on tech. So why? Like, we have three technical features. First one is decentralized sequencer. I know there's so many discussion about shared sequencer, single sequencer on the market right now. But Morph already has a solution. We have decentralized sequencer live on our testnet. I think a lot of other layer 2s also mentioned that in their roadmap, but they haven't really made it yet. But Morph has already made it live. We are the first one which puts the decentralized sequencer live on our testnet. And second of all, as I mentioned, that we are using a hybrid rollup technology, which means that we combine OP and ZK rollup together because we know that ZK is not 100% mature at the moment, and the cost is very, very high, right? So that's why we find the middle point, which means that you still need to do the fraud proof, but once people challenge you, you use a ZK proof to prove yourself. And the consequence is that, the outcome is that it's much safer than the pure OP rollup, and it's also much more cost efficient than the pure ZK rollup, right? And third of all, we use modular design, which allows our developers to be more flexible and safer to adjust your coding structure. So next one, for users, how can we care about users? I think most of, like all of us see the dip on the market recently, right? I cannot like tell like whether the bear market is coming or not, but the thing I can see or I can tell from the market is that the reason why there's a dip right now is because on one side we have continuous sales pressure from different projects and different parties. And on the other hand, we don't have new liquidity coming in. And what is new liquidity? New liquidity is new users, right? It's not, as I mentioned that, it's not a degen group of people, it's not the Web3 native people because that's so small, the audience is so small. What we need is new joiners. But why they're not joining us? It's because we ourselves, the Web3 people, make the entry barrier for them that high, right? The first thing is that they don't even understand what is DeFi, what is NFT, what is GameFi. All these, like 90% of the projects you can find on the market right now, they don't understand. The entry barrier of the knowledge is too high for them. So I think building up a consumer chain, building up a chain for consumers, there are like two concepts behind that. The first thing is that we need to bring very familiar consumer applications on chain to drive into mass adoption. So, for example, entertainment and gaming, social, retail e-commerce, lifestyle, travel, finance, investment, loyalty platforms, all these very familiar Web 2 applications we cannot find in Web 3 that often right now. So this is the first thing that Morph is going to focus into these verticals, which is really related to people's daily life, and all of them can bring value to people's real life. So this is the first thing. And the second thing is that all these UI, UX right now for Web3 is too complicated for them to understand. The whole user onboarding process is so complicated and the people just give up. Even they understand the basic concept of Web3, they just give up. They think it's taking them a lot of time to understand the whole process. They need to connect with their wallet. First, they need to have a wallet, and then they need to collect with a wallet. And then they need to do like several times of verification to reach what they want to do, right? So the whole UX is so complicated for them. So Morph is doing something that we wish in the future, all these applications on Morph is as easy, as simple as possible for users to use. It's just as simple as the Web 2 applications. So people don't need to understand the on-chain technology behind. They just need to understand that the value of these Web 3 applications is much higher than the Web 2 applications. And these are some statistics we have for our testnet right now in terms of users. Right now, we already have over 1.5 million wallet addresses on our testnet. We have generated 26 million transactions on our testnet. And daily trading volume, daily transaction is like 630,000 per day. And we actually just launched our testnet V2 in May. So it's just after 2 months of efforts, we got these numbers. And market-wise, we are also pretty different from the other layer 2s. I know most of the leading layer 2s, they're focusing in US market a lot, but we are not. We are more pioneering in Asia Pacific, Europe area, and also the global South area. The reason behind that is the real users are actually in these regions. I was running exchange before. We are still very close to all these centralized exchanges. We know where the transaction happens. It's not in Europe. It's not in US. It's in Asia. It's in East Asia, Southeast Asia, Europe, right? There are full of users who have money to invest in crypto, who, like these 30 million users I was mentioning about, they're real users. They're real like crypto retail users who hold crypto, who trade crypto, who are eagerly looking for applications which can create value to their life, but they cannot find at the moment. So one of our purpose is to bring the high quality applications to these market. And on the other side, I think also in these areas, they are full of high-quality, talented developers who are lacking of support at the moment because no one really cares about them. Most of the resources are still in US. So Morph is here to support and help you guys. This is our roadmap. So right now, we are, as I mentioned, that we are still on our testnet V2. And in Q3, we're going to, like this quarter, we're going to launch our mainnet, so it's happening pretty soon. And Q4, we're going to update our mainnet and also launch our token. And also recently, we launched our Builders Incentive Program, which starting from the Bounty Program to Ecosystem Fund. So we will look into builders' background and put them into buckets in these programs. And each program will have different financial and resources support. But in general, we are like very generous to our builders. In conclusion, we are going to give them back the first year 100% of sequencer fee profits reimbursement to all of these builders. And second of all, we are, like I mentioned, that we have this 100 million ecosystem fund and up to 100K grants to single project, and also a share of 30% of the total airdrop allocations of Morph. And beside that, we also have the fundraising, promotional, technical, operational, and listing support for you guys. This is the ecosystem we already have right now. I think we probably already have around 100 projects deployed on Morph. I'm super, super proud of it because we are still on the testnet and we're still new on testnet, and this is our achievement already. So yeah, that's basically everything about Morph. We have a booth outside, I think at the entrance part, and there are our team of ecosystem, marketing, community people there, so you can go there and talk with them. And also this is our link tree, so you can find all of our contacts in this QR code. My personal Twitter is Cecilia Hsueh, it's just my name, so you can also go to Twitter and follow me. And also welcome to talk to me in person and talk to our team in person. Thank you so much.